Welcome to another contemplative voyage on sacred texts summarized. Today, our journey takes us into the life-altering teachings of Huang Po, a towering Zen master from China's Tang Dynasty. Though the centuries stretch out between his era and ours, Huang Po's words remain provocative and enlivening, swift arrows aimed straight at the heart of our conditioned minds. As we embark on this episode, imagine stepping into an ancient temple courtyard. Sunlight glances off grey stone. Incense smoke curls into the air, and you hear a quiet stillness punctuated only by the flutter of temple banners. It is in such a place, and in such a spiritual climate, that Huang Po once lived and taught, forever altering the course of Zen Buddhism. In the Tang Dynasty, 618–907 CE, often referred to as the Golden Age of Zen, you would have encountered many notable figures whose names are legendary. Bodhidharma, the fierce Indian monk credited with bringing Zen, Chan in Chinese, to China. Huineng, the iconic sixth patriarch. Mazu, known for his unconventional teaching methods. And Rinzai in Japanese, whose lineage still thrives today. Huang Po belonged to this remarkable lineage of teachers, each with his own style of awakening students. He was, by some accounts, a disciple of Baizhang Huaihai and a contemporary of Rinzai. Huang Po carried forward a spiritually explosive style of Zen, swift, startling and aimed at cutting through conceptual thought with a single word, gesture, or even a sharp blow. His teaching revolved around what he referred to as the one mind, the source that underlies and unites all phenomena, untouched by the dualities and distinctions that usually dominate our thinking. Before we delve deeper, let us recognize that Huang Po challenges us from the outset. He insists that Zen cannot be fully conveyed in words or concepts. Words, for him, can act only as arrows or signposts. They cannot be the thing they point to. If we become too attached to theories, categories, or even the word Zen, we risk missing what is right here, closer than our breath, an indefinable reality beyond all labels. All Buddhas and ordinary beings are nothing but one mind, Huang Po declares, offering a profound reminder. The line we draw between enlightenment and ignorance, teacher and student, Buddha and ordinary person, is a mental construct. In that one stroke, the grand illusions of spiritual hierarchy begin to crumble. Imagine yourself pausing right now as you listen. Place your awareness gently on your own mind. Notice how every thought or emotion bubbles up, lingers and disappears. Is there an underlying stillness or presence that is watching these comings and goings yet remains unchanging? Huang Po calls this the one mind in its ordinary unadorned state. It doesn't need to be created, it simply needs to be recognized. As soon as we begin to chase lofty concepts or dogmas, I need to become enlightened, I need a special technique, or I am spiritually lacking, we slip into the labyrinth of duality. The Master, with great compassion, invites us to step out of that labyrinth, not by acquiring more knowledge, but by relinquishing the belief that knowledge can contain truth. One of Huang Po's most paradoxical instructions is, there is no teaching. When a disciple once pressed him about the essence of Zen, Huang Po famously replied that the essence is that there is no essence, or, as he put it, the essence of the teaching is that there is no teaching. At first glance, this might strike us as a riddle or even a dismissive joke, yet it brims with insight. Anytime we cling to a concept of a teaching or the method, we risk becoming fixated on that very concept, missing the reality it points toward. It's like a person so mesmerized by the sign reading "moon ahead" that they never actually look up at the moon. We become too focused on the finger that points, forgetting to gaze upon the luminous truth that is always present. Still, Huang Po doesn't slip into nihilism. His insistence that there is no teaching is not a rejection of wisdom or guidance, it's a wake-up call. He wants us to see that ultimate truth cannot be captured or contained. Sometimes The moment we try to enclose truth with an idea, we create distance. We might imagine that Buddha nature is somewhere else, locked behind complicated doctrines or advanced meditation instructions. Huang Po's no teaching is a radical invitation. Let go of your mental scaffolding, if only for an instant, and open to reality without filtering it through preconceived categories. Many of us, in our spiritual pursuits, have wrestled with the question, how do I become enlightened? Even that seemingly noble quest, Huang Po warns, can become an obstacle. Seeking is often predicated on a sense of lack. I am not enlightened, so I need to do something to become enlightened. This inherently sets up a duality. I, the unenlightened one, must chase after that distant state called enlightenment. For Huang Po, this chase is precisely what keeps us trapped in endless cycles of suffering. The deeper truth is that what we seek, Buddha nature, dwells right where we stand. The act of seeking, ironically, pushes it further away because it affirms that we don't have it. We end up like a person searching every corner of the house for the eyeglasses perched on their own nose. Huang Po's emphasis on the one mind is more than just a philosophical statement. It's a call to experience the underlying wholeness of reality that exists before judgment, before the myriad stories we spin about who we are and what we need. In everyday terms, reflect on the moments you find yourself labeling something good or bad. You encounter a particular smell, and instantly you think, I dislike that. Or you see a news headline and label it awful. This constant labeling may help us navigate daily life at a superficial level, but Huang Po would say that it also keeps us locked into a limited view of existence. When you remove the labels, even for a moment, you find a startling openness, a fresh perspective untethered by old narratives. Now, consider a flower. Typically, you might glance at it and immediately name it. Oh, that's a rose. Then you bring in a rush of associations, some pleasant, some indifferent, memories of a Valentine's Day bouquet, or the fragrance of a rose garden. Huang Po suggests looking at the flower without naming it, without dragging all these associations into the moment. In this way, the flower is free to be exactly what it is, and your awareness is free to be purely present. This is not about denial of scientific information or cultural knowledge. Rather, it's about tasting the raw immediacy of reality, allowing the present moment to be seen in its vibrant suchness rather than through layers of mental commentary. If at times you find these teachings disorienting, you're not alone. Even Huang Po's own disciples were often thrown off balance. In fact, he was known to deliver teachings with abrupt shock, such as striking a monk who asked, "What is the Buddha?" This can sound violent or baffling to modern ears, but in the Chan tradition of the Tang Dynasty, such actions were forms of shock therapy. They were intended to break the mind's habit of overthinking and analysing. A sharp blow, a shout, or a surprising remark could short-circuit the discursive intellect long enough for a flash of direct insight to emerge. In that moment, the disciples' usual mental barriers might dissolve, revealing the one mind. Even if physical strikes don't suit our contemporary sensibilities, the principle of sudden wakefulness remains relevant. Perhaps you've experienced a personal crisis, a health scare, a job loss, or a sudden startling event that caused you to step outside your usual routines. In a single moment of shock, the ordinary mental storyline might crack open, offering a glimpse of a more spacious awareness. While painful or unsettling, such experiences can precipitate real spiritual growth, mirroring the role Huang Po's shocking methods once played in ancient temples. Throughout Huang Po's recorded teachings, we find repeated calls to see beyond the dance of opposites, good and evil, beautiful and ugly, enlightened and unenlightened. He points back to the one mind, where such dualities collapse. If you want to practice the way, he famously says, do not think about good or evil, do not dwell on the past or future. When the mind is not moving, that is the Buddha. For Huang Po, the mind that rests in present awareness, neither chasing illusions nor rejecting them, is the Buddha, right here, right now. This admonition doesn't mean we ignore ethical considerations or the practical demands of daily life. It's a reminder to respond to each situation from a place of clarity and stillness, rather than from layers of labeling or self-centered clinging. This stillness he describes is not a blank numbness. It's a radiant clarity, a tranquility that is alert and compassionate. When free from knee-jerk judgments about good and bad, past and future, we can truly encounter whatever arises in the present moment. In that clarity, each situation becomes an opportunity to act with genuine insight rather than with mechanical reactions. Over time, this approach can transform the way we perceive and engage with the world. Instead of feeling trapped by old habits or mental chatter, we gain the agility to meet life directly. One of Huang Po's crowning teachings is that the one mind is neither something you can gain nor something you can lose. It is your true nature, the ocean in which all waves of thought arise and fall. A single wave might think it is separate, different from the ocean, yet it cannot exist outside of the ocean itself. The same goes for our thoughts and the awareness that spawns them. Emotions come and go, sensations appear and disappear, but the foundation, awareness itself, remains ever present. We don't need to manufacture this awareness. We simply notice that it is already here. This recognition is the essence of Zen's pathless path. If enlightenment were an object that could be gained, it could equally be lost. But when enlightenment is seen as the nature of your own mind, seeking loses its urgency. You discover that the chase was a phantom created by the mind's illusion of separateness. With seeking stripped away, spiritual practice becomes something far more subtle and integrated, an expression of your inherent clarity rather than a desperate quest for something outside yourself. Why then, if it's so near, do we overlook this truth? According to Huang Po, we are beguiled by the forms and names of this world. We take fleeting experiences and fixate on them, turning them into problems to solve or desires to chase. We cling to a sense of a personal I at the center of it all. This I becomes the basis for countless stories. I need recognition. I must guard my reputation, or I don't want to be disrespected. The more real and solid these self-referential dramas feel, the more distant the underlying peace appears. Part of Zen practice involves seeing these self-generated dramas as what they are, thoughts arising in the mind and vanishing moment by moment. Huang Po often underscores the teacher's role as a mere pointer, not a guru to be worshipped. A true Zen teacher, he insists, mirrors the student's own capacity for awakening, reflecting back the luminous nature the student already has, but has momentarily forgotten. This stands in contrast to more dogmatic traditions, where knowledge is systematically taught and memorized. In Zen, the teacher's aim is to catalyze direct insight, not to pile on more concepts. And in that sense, a good teacher acts much like a friend, shining light on blind spots, while insisting that each individual verify the truth for themselves. Blind faith is discouraged. Experiential verification is key. At the heart of Huang Po's teaching lies emptiness, which can initially sound bleak. Many people recoil from the word emptiness, associating it with loneliness, negativity, or meaninglessness. But in the Zen view, emptiness is a vibrant concept. It signifies the open, boundless potential from which all things arise. If you think of emptiness as a blank canvas, then all forms, flowers, people, emotions, are strokes of paint on that canvas. The canvas doesn't vanish when the painting appears, nor does the painting become something separate from the canvas. They coexist, interpenetrating each other. Emptiness is the spacious field of possibility, and form is its colourful manifestation. Once you see that all forms are transient expressions of this fertile emptiness, you can appreciate their beauty and preciousness without clinging to them. A rose is stunning precisely because it will wither. A conversation is meaningful, partly because it won't repeat itself in exactly the same way. Recognizing impermanence can deepen our gratitude for the present moment rather than pushing us into despair. In seeing that everything arises from emptiness, we also sense that our personal dramas, so weighty in our minds, are fleeting events in a vast cosmic dance. Huang Po's teachings ring with fresh relevance for our modern world. We live amidst a never-ending flow of information, news alerts, social media updates, and infinite entertainment vying for our attention. Our minds often feel like busy intersections where multiple streams of thoughts and emotions collide. Huang Po's suggestion to stop talking and thinking is not a call to become ignorant or passive. It's an invitation to step out of the mental traffic for a moment. In that pause, we might glimpse a stillness that helps us navigate life with more clarity and less stress. Try taking a single ordinary moment, like checking your phone, and turn it into a mindful pause. Notice the thoughts that surge up. Maybe excitement, boredom, or impatience. See if you can watch these mental events the way you might watch clouds drifting across the sky. They appear, change shape and dissipate, while the sky-like awareness remains. This recognition may be fleeting at first, but each moment of mindful observation strengthens your connection to the one mind. Importantly, Huang Po did not advocate running away from the world. He wasn't suggesting we dodge our responsibilities or become perpetually silent hermits. Rather, he pointed out that when you see through illusions, you become more skillful in responding to real-world situations. When not caught in personal agendas or constant judgments, you can meet life's demands with presence, creativity, and compassion. If you've ever had a moment of simple contentment, watching a sunset, sharing a genuine laugh, or feeling a quiet sense of belonging, you have already tasted the essence of Huang Po's message. In such moments, there's no frantic search for something else. What is enough. The mind isn't divided, and the heart feels open and complete. These glimpses might only last seconds, but they reveal a profound potential that exists outside of our usual restlessness. Huang Po's entire teaching could be seen as a lantern shining a light on those moments, telling us, look here, this is the natural state, this is your home. So, how do we begin to live in that home more steadily? Huang Po suggests a twofold approach. First, unlearn illusions by noticing how we label, judge, and seek. Second, trust in the inherent awareness that underlies all phenomena. Practice might look like sitting in meditation or pausing during daily tasks, whatever fosters an attitude of still, watchful presence. Over time, these moments of clarity weave themselves more permanently into the fabric of our lives, revealing a deeper, unshakable peace. In this sense, letting go is not about rejecting life's responsibilities or emotional richness. It's about releasing our rigid attachments to labels, outcomes, and ego-driven narratives. When we let go of our reflex to cling, we discover we can still engage fully in relationships, work, and creativity. Yet we do so with less anxiety and more fluidity. We become, in a small but powerful way, like that ocean that can host infinite waves without ever losing its tranquil depth. Huang Po concludes that enlightenment is not an external goal we achieve, but a realization of what has always been. The symbolic treasure chest is in our hands from the start, even if we roam the world looking for gold. His teaching reminds us gently but insistently that seeking outside ourselves only perpetuates the cycle of dissatisfaction. Once we realize we hold the treasure already, the frantic search ends. This cessation of seeking transforms spiritual life. No longer do we practice to become something else. we practice to fully express the luminous nature of what we already are. As we wrap up this journey into the heart of Huang Po's teaching, you might consider how it resonates in your own life. Are there areas where you feel a persistent sense of lack or unrest? Could it be that the very act of reaching outward magnifies that sense of distance? What might happen if, just for a moment, you let yourself rest in a silent awareness that requires no self-improvement? These contemplations are not meant to distance you from life's vibrancy, but rather to invite you to live it more wholeheartedly, free from illusions of separateness or lack. In the end, Huang Po's words serve as both a challenge and a profound comfort. They challenge us to question our deep-rooted assumptions about who we are and how the world works. They comfort us with the assurance that enlightenment is not a distant possession, but the very fabric of our being. We come full circle to the great paradox of Zen. There is truly nothing to attain, yet everything to discover in this moment. May these teachings echo in your day-to-day life, prompting you to pause, breathe, and see with fresh eyes. Let them remind you that you don't have to embark on a grand pilgrimage to find what you already carry. Let them spark the possibility that each mundane task, from washing dishes to typing emails, can become a gateway to present-moment awareness. And finally, let them inspire a gentle curiosity about the nature of your own mind. The invitation is clear and ever open. Look directly and see for yourself that the one mind, complete, undivided and luminous, has never been anything but your own. Thank you for joining us on this episode of Sacred Texts Summarized, where the spirit of Huang Po's teaching continues to reverberate across centuries, urging us to live in the direct experience of what is. As you step away from these words, may you carry with you a deeper recognition of the simplicity of being and the profound potential that unfolds once we realize that, indeed, we are already home.